Hi guys, welcome back to Master of None. It's Sunday, January 19th, and I'm walking to go get some work done because I've kind of been like all over the place and I need to sit down and like get some things in order because I have a bunch of shoots coming up and the studios aren't even booked for it, and like I have some bills to pay. Like there are some things that I just need to like. Also, it's 38 degrees, so above freezing temperature, and it's hailing, so I'm having a great time. And I didn't want to put my jacket on that had a hood, so I'm wearing a regular jacket and I'm carrying an umbrella. You know what? Things aren't making sense. Anyway, this morning I ran 9 miles and yesterday I ran 8 miles. This weekend, it was like a really good weekend for running and I just felt good. So that was fun. We had game night last night. You know what? It's been a good weekend all in all. And after I finish some work, me and my roommates are gonna just watch some TV, or we're gonna have like movie day, what we call it. We start early and watch 3 movies. And the theme for today is like really bad horror movies. So I'm excited because I have a few of them. I'm not a big fan of horror, but if they're low budget, then I'm like, wait, that's really cute. Like if they're bad and I know it's not real, then I love it. So yeah, I did read a couple articles this week that I want to recap you guys on. All of them are about being child free, which is like, I don't know why that was my theme this week. I had a thought process on why that would have been my theme, but I don't remember what it was. Maybe I'll remember by the time I like want to recap you guys. But I read 2 articles about it, one informational and one fictional. So that's not necessarily an article, it's like a short story. But it's nice to have like that perspective. Like the first one was called The Child Free Are Ungovernable, and the second one was called How to Deny Your Husband Eternity, which is a problematic title in my opinion, but that's besides the point. Yeah, so I'm gonna recap those like later on in the video. Something I did want to say is, yeah, last night at around 11, TikTok was banned. The messaging, I'll put the messaging on the screen. My hair is like flying everywhere. I'll put the messaging on the screen. But the messaging was, President Trump is working so hard to get TikTok back. First of all, what? It was back literally like an hour ago. And he said, President Trump has worked so hard to get this app back for you. So that's basically fascist propaganda. It's hard to stay positive and like look forward to the future when this is the future. And a lot of like my work is about like fighting these systems and stuff like that, and I think like that's nice to have something to fight for, but also sometimes I'm like why am I always fighting? Why can't I just like live? Anyway, yeah. Also, another recap, we went to go see Junior Varsity, the band, on Thursday. Best concert I've seen in a while. Best night of like almost my entire life. It was a great night. And yeah, I just wanted to express some gratitude for that because it made me feel really grateful for the people I have in my life currently. Yeah. So that's really fun and funky and fresh. Now I'm gonna go do some work. I'm really tired from my run, but not as tired as I was yesterday, which is weird because I ran longer today. But I will be taking off tomorrow because 17 miles in 2 days is diabolical. But it was warm out, and I feel like it was not necessarily like warm in a general sense. It was like 40 degrees, but that's warm when you're like literally running. So yeah, this has been a great time. I'm gonna go now though. Hi. Okay, I'm back and I have to walk a little bit farther because I'm not going to that coffee shop anymore because that coffee shop, they didn't have any seats available, which is like really annoying to me. Whatever. I need to have a seat in an outlet just to like for my troubles, you know what I mean? So I have to walk a little farther, whatever. So I thought that I'd recap the first article. So the first article I read, I'll put it on the screen obviously, is called The Child Free Are Ungovernable. And that's not something that I've thought about, being child free for my entire life, for political reasons. Not as any type of protest or anything, but just because things seem to be going so bad that I don't think I want to bring a child into this, especially with like the climate, the like political state of the world, like stuff like that. I don't know. I feel like we just keep getting worse and worse and worse. I don't know, doesn't seem to be anymore something that I would like to do. I still think about it. There are still times where I'm like, maybe I would have a kid, but I don't know. It seems like the risks are just far greater than the actual reward. To me, at this moment, I'm also 24 years old, and I don't have I'm not financially stable enough to have a child. Things are always going to change. I'm not saying, I'm not saying that I'm never ever gonna have a kid, because it was something that I grew up wanting. So, but anyway, I want to talk about how I never considered this perspective that the child free are just generally ungovernable, because basically this writer was saying that children automatically make you more conservative. You can't do as much when you have children. You can't go out and fight when you have children. You can't be protesting when you have children. And yes, you do see people who are in the minority who are out at protests, and they've got their kids on their shoulders, and I think that's really beautiful. And I feel like I'd be that type of parent. I feel like I would be. I would hope I would be, but you just never know. So I can't speak to my future self, obviously, but I would hope and I would pray that I would be that person. Anyway, people who have children, especially small children, cannot mobilize. And if you spend so long having a small child, and you haven't been out being politically active, you haven't been mobilizing, you haven't been protesting, you haven't been doing all these things, then it just, I don't know, I feel like after a while you get used to that lifestyle and you just don't do it anymore, whether you care about it or not. So people who are child free have that ability. People who remain child free have that ability to go out to protest, to take these risks with themselves, with their person, that people who have children cannot. Which is why he was saying they just are essentially ungovernable. And I like that sentiment. I enjoyed hearing that perspective. But I think a lot of people experience this thought process in their 20s. Maybe not with past generations though, I think it started with millennials, where people in their 20s started really to think hey, maybe I just don't want kids. Maybe I actually won't be able to afford it. You know what I mean? And stopped thinking of having children for selfish reasons, I want a mini young, or I want to fix what my parents couldn't. Those are selfish reasons. Most psychological reasons for wanting a child are selfish, because you want to fix the past, you want to live vicariously through your child, you want to provide something that you weren't provided. And I think that at this point, I would like to have a child for a good reason, not to fix the past, not for any type of selfish reason. So if I should ever feel like I want a child and it's for the right reasons, then that's fire. But right now it's kind of seeming like children are just not in those cards for me, because currently when I think about having a kid, I'm I want to dress them up, I would like to take film photos of them, I want to take them around the world with me when I go, I want to instill so much knowledge in them, and I want to become better. I want to become a better communicator, a kinder person, someone who's not afraid of vulnerability, so I can instill those values in my child and see them manifest. And I don't think that's good enough reason at this moment. I think those are selfish reasons. So I don't know. It's a thought process that I'm having, but not one I'm thinking too far into, because gotta get married first before you have a kid. Or for me personally. But yeah, I don't know. That is what I was thinking when we were all reading that article. And so yeah, that's it for right now. I'm almost at the coffee shop, so I'm gonna stop talking. But I will update you guys on the other one later. Hi guys. Okay, I'm back. I am going to be recapping the Substack post I was talking about in like briefly in my last clip, How to Deny Your Husband Eternity by Platonic Husband / Aziz. I've read his work before. I read it in my first vlog. I don't remember, it was called How Hard Should You Kiss a Woman? And I was like, that piece gave me pause. He's aware of himself, so I'm like, you know what? I can deal with this. But by the end, it was giving male photographer who only shoots women because he's so obsessed with the woman form, when in reality he's just plain old lustful. And this is what this is giving. Like, what his piece was giving was like, oh, I'm a man written by a woman. Like, I want to be devoted to a woman. I'm yearning for this love. JK, actually, it's more casual sex. Why? This piece I actually really like a lot, especially when I read it alongside The Child Free Are Ungovernable, and not so much because it had anything to do with politics, but because it was like a real life example alongside this political, like very straightforward piece. So I just finished reading How to Deny Your Husband Eternity, and I'm gonna give you a small premise. Basically, it's about this woman who meets this guy, and they're having a great time. They get married. They fall for each other. She mentions that he loves her more than she loves him, and then at one point in the story, they've already been married. They're like sitting on the couch. They're talking about a picture of them at their wedding, and his aunt is like leaning into her, whispering to her, asking her about children, and he never knew that, and she explains that, and he's like, oh, like, what did you say? And she was like, nothing. It was like our wedding day. Like, why would I say anything about that at that moment? Like, we're not focused on that. And then they kind of like move on, and later on he asked her, hey, like, do you want kids? And she says no, but he wants kids. They divorce weeks later, and they have like a chance meeting one more time in Italy when she's with her partner and he's with his kids as well. And I think this piece was written really, 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 really well. And even though it's a man writing from a woman's perspective, I think he captured this story really well. And when I first started reading it, I was like, maybe he's only going to capture it well because he knows how a man would feel to be denied eternity, but it wasn't the case at all. So I was kind of disarmed by this. So I want to read a quote. I'm going to read a couple quotes, but I want to read one. So she's talking about her mother at this point, and she's like, this is just a one-off comment. And she goes, or he writes, but it's like her thoughts. By their mid-20s, most women know how it feels to wake up out of love. I was like, okay. Okay. And whether that's on like a small scale or a large scale, I think that's very true. Like to know how it feels to wake up next to someone and be like, and to just know, like, I'm not your person. Like, that's not us. That's not what no. So I read that and I was like, wait, how's he know? Somebody cooked here. Somebody did something here. And then the next quote was something that like I thought was really beautiful, and I'm going to read it and then I'm going to explain why I thought it was beautiful. It says, I used to think he had an endless amount of love inside of him, but the tap to that reservoir twisted shut the day I admitted I would never bear his child. He did try to understand for a little while, but there was a horrible truth I could feel underneath his skin and his kisses, a feeling that his love for me had halved. A sense that for all those perfect years, he'd loved both me and the mother he saw inside me, in unison and in advance. I genuinely, like, I don't have like words for that, honestly. Like, I read that and I was like, wow. And I think that part specifically really ties into the title, like, How to Deny Your Husband Eternity. And there's something so twisted about it that like men really think you owe them that, you know what I mean? And I think it's like a lot of it's biology, but also a lot of it is just like how we grow up and what we like hear while growing up, what we see and stuff like that. So that part really got me. I was like, wait, I'm feeling something here, especially when he says he'd love both me and the mother he saw inside me, in unison and in advance. But he never asked her. They had never had this conversation. They were fully married. Like, it was just the fact that he assumed that. I was like, wait. And then there's one other quote. There's another quote. There had been a silent courtship between himself and my womb, and I had canceled their consummation. like, okay, I think a lot of women do feel guilty if they don't want to have a kid, whether they say that part out loud or not. Like, there are a lot of women I know who are like, I'm never having a child. I don't want a child. I've never wanted a child. And like, I think that's fine. There are a couple women I know who are like, I don't think I want to have a kid, but they feel obligated to, because like, men want children. Men want to have someone to carry on their last name. Not all men, but most men, you know what I mean? Like, so, and I think I'm somewhere in between. I think I'm like oscillating between the two, because like there's a part of me that wants to like gain like a wealth of knowledge, and that wants to write best-selling novels and incredible screenplays and travel the world and take insane photos of revolutions and hope and despair and all of it. I want to experience all of it. And I don't think that I can do that with a child. I have faith that I'll be able to find a partner who wants to do that with me. But I think that's all we'll be able to bear, if that makes sense. Like, the life that I live, I don't think is conducive to child care. And it's like, it's not something, I said this in the last clip, it's not something that I need to decide at this very moment, but it's something that I think about a lot, because, you know, nobody's having children at 45. Like I could decide to have a child at 40 or 45 or whatever, but still, there's a part of me that, like, you need to think about the child as well, not just like yourself and your desires. So I'm like, even if I wait a long time, you risk like having a child that has an older parent who can't like do for them, and who they're going to lose at an earlier age than like other people. You risk, and if I choose to have a child and have it younger, not young, because we're pushing, but choose to have it younger, then there's a part of me that feels like I'll have to give up some of my dreams, or have to carry them with me on my dreams, when like their childhood should be about them, you know what I mean? There's a part of me that doesn't want to give myself away in that way. And yeah. And when I tell people that, it feels like that's a personal thing, but also I think people need to be having conversations like this, because I think too many people are having children because they think that's the right thing to do. Like, they're having children like it's a compulsion, and that's not something that I agree with in the slightest. That's wrong. That's a life, and you are just doing it because you feel obligated to. What are your hopes? What are your dreams? You know what I mean? I don't know. So yeah, I really loved that piece, and it just really, it was good to me. I enjoyed it. I think that's one of my favorite short stories / Substack posts that I've read in the entire time that I've been like keeping track of this media. Yeah, I thought it was beautiful. And I can't wait to read more of his work. I can't wait to read other people's work. I have some saved. So yeah. Hello, my lovelies. I am reporting to you live from the stairwell at work on my lunch break. This is so fun. This is crazy. I do feel like it's crazy that I'm doing this, but I do want to finish this vlog because I'm on my lunch break. I'm like living my life, like doing my thing. I do want to say a couple things before I finish it off, though. First and foremost, my digital magazine, Swallow Mag. I mentioned it, I don't remember if it was the last vlog or the vlog before that. I did a post yesterday called The Nibble, which is a media digest that I'm going to try to post weekly, where I highlight writers and creators. I highlight their articles and videos and media that they put online to educate the public about politics and things like that, because, you know, honestly, the people in power, they're failing us, so we need to rely on community and things like that. So yesterday I posted the first one, and it has 4 articles, 2 videos, and 2 books that I recommend. So yeah, I would check that out if you want to learn, if you want to read, if you want media and articles and videos and stuff that are gonna help educate you on what's going on and what's happening and like, yada yada yada. Sorry, it sounded like something was coming. Yeah, so check it out. There it is, Swallow Mag. Next thing I wanted to talk about, I just wanted to briefly, I'm not going to say much about what's going on right now. Everybody knows what's going on. We know that we have a new person in office. We know that the inauguration just happened. I'm upset by the events that have taken place. I'm upset by the executive orders that have been put in place. I'm upset by everything that's going on right now. I had my moment to kind of like take space to be sad about it, but honestly, at this point, I'm operating from a place of hope. I'm operating from a place of optimism. If we don't have that, then we have nothing at all. I believe that because I have it instilled me to want to fight, to want to better the world, that other people do as well, somewhere, somehow, some way. So that's where I'm operating from. I am still taking space to be upset, to be sad about the state of the world, but there's more work to do. Okay, I switched places because there was a lot going on, but there's work to be done. I don't, like, there are no excuses to be made, you know what I mean? Like, that's just it. So yeah, that's basically all I have to say about that. I also want to touch on an article that I read yesterday called "I'd Die for You, Knowing You'd Risk Nothing for Me." Very concise, very passionate, very beautiful article that I read on Substack. That really encapsulates how I feel about everything that's going on. How I feel about what we need to do moving forward, and the attitude that everybody needs to have. Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. I couldn't have written anything better myself. It honestly, I recommend that everybody read that. It's kind of coming at people who say they want change but are so comfortable sitting in the mess that we've made. I think it was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful piece, and I did subscribe to this person. What I will say is I think that a lot of minorities are the first to jump and the first to really take action against injustice, and we need more people on our side. We need people who are going to jump in front of us, people who are going to fight with us, alongside us. Okay, I changed locations again. People who are going to guard us, you know, things like that. Yeah, that's all I have to say, honestly. In my Substack post, I have no patience for people who are exhausted by political conversations, who just refuse to have them. And yeah, I don't know. So I can say that myself, I am exhausted, and I'm continuing to do the work. I'm continuing to learn. I'm continuing to build and rebuild and work and speak to the people I work with and speak to the people around me. You know, I don't know. Yeah, I have no patience for ignorance anymore. I have no patience for the things that are happening. It's time to get up. It's time to do the work. I don't know. Anyway, this is all coming from a place of love. I believe in us, and I believe that the people that are in my life have the ability to change minds, have the ability to open hearts, and I believe the people I will meet who are meant to be in my life will have the same. I believe in the power of community, in the power of love. I believe in the power of humanity, over the power of greed, over the power of technology, over the power of white men who think they're God. Yeah, that's all I have to say. But yeah, that was this episode of Master of None. And I hope to see you guys next week. There's some fun stuff coming, like just some cool stuff coming. I have like 4 shoots planned, so I'm excited to just like take y'all with me on that. Yeah, peace and love, peace be with you, take care of yourself. Radical self-care, radical community care are the things that will save us. So do it, and do it proudly. And call out your friends and family who think that this is a joke, because it's not.